All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you can all hear me. Could I
Yes,
get
we
a
can.
thumbs?
Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So first of all, my name is Robert Bob Okello, and I'm a team lead here with Marifa Sasa Limited. Our mission is very simple. We want to use technology to democratize access to life-changing opportunities. So whether that is in education, we want to make sure that technology helps us to gain access. And so one thing that I've been learning, or perhaps I learned over the last month, something new in the IT space, had to do, of course, with the project that we've been working on. And that is learning, there's something we call APKs and SDKs, but in particular pertaining to the Matterport platform, which is the platform that is allowing us to be able to develop these 3D virtual tours. So learning how to be able to communicate with that platform and build some customizations on top of that is something very exciting that I've been learning over the last couple of, over the last month. So we call the software development kits for this particular platform, and then also what we call the APK or the application, packaging kits. So that's something that I've learned, and it gives you a lot of, abilities to actually communicate with a lot of these platforms. And that is something that I've been learning a lot. Now, I'm going to be able to go back to another studio. Perhaps that is something, again, exciting, about technology that we've been learning, seeing how we can really play around with these tools to give us more exciting and engaging, presentations and media. And so I will be going to another studio right now, and I'm crossing fingers and hoping that this works. But, from there, I'm going to basically introduce what this, some of the key highlights about the tour, and then we will go into the specifics of each of these 3D virtual tours. Okay. Hello and good morning. I'm so honored and humbled that you. Can you all hear that sound?
Yes, thank you so much.
Able to join us today as we present to you the work that my team has been doing to present to you these 3D virtual tours. Now, over the last couple of months, we have been working with all of you to bring us to this day. And so there are two things that get me so excited. One is to present to you the 3D virtual tours that we have been working on. And secondly, is to get the feedback from all of you to help us even make this a more effective tool for instruction and to help our students make better decisions about their industrial training choices. Now, there were 5 different locations that we visited to bring to you these 3D virtual tours. And before we proceed, I would love to present to you these 5 different locations. So let's take a look at this drone footage of the 5 different locations. Wow, isn't Uganda beautiful? Now, those were the 5 different locations of our 3D agricultural tours. We're in Gulu at the Gulu Country Dairy, we're in Lira at Ngeta Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute, Ngeta Zadi. We were in Shama District at the Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union in Kabohe. And of course, we were also in Kalangala in the Sesi Farm Institute. Now, to help us make the most out of these pilot 3D virtual tours, I would love to highlight some of the key features of the 3D virtual tours that make navigation seamless and very smooth. First, to begin with, the highlight reels. The highlight reels, think of this as a window that lets you get into a particular location in this 3D virtual tours. As you can see on your screen, these are all labeled to highlight specific aspects of a given tour. Also, on the bottom left corner of your screen, you will see a play button. This play button allows the user to basically click and play, and they're taken through an automated tour of the particular space. Now, one of our key guiding documents as we were developing these 3D virtual tours was the scripts that we worked on during the processes in our meetings as we spent time together virtually and physically at NIC. The scripts highlighted the key focus areas and the key objectives of each of these particular 3D virtual tours of the particular sites. And so as we were crafting these 3D experiences, we were keeping in mind these focus areas and the key objectives. And we hope that each of these videos achieves those key objectives as outlined in the script that we collectively produced. Also, I want to highlight two key aspects that are very critical to navigating these 3D virtual spaces. We have the 3D virtual space, and we also have what we're calling 360 views. What you see here, it says 360. Each time you tap on this, it takes you to a 360 view of a particular space. And inside the 360 view, you will be able to see other 360-degree views, but also see this icon that shows someone walking. When you tap into that, it takes you back to the 3D virtual space that you can then go and navigate. With these core features, we are now set to actually take a tour of each of these virtual spaces. Hello and good morning. All right, welcome back from Studio B. I hope you were able to get that information and just some walkthroughs on what this process has been like, and of course some of the key steps involved in interacting with the 3D virtual tours that we will be showcasing today. Now, like I mentioned, in that particular session, I would love to just highlight that one key thing that my team is so much looking for today is getting your feedback on what can still be done and what can be improved to really ensure that at the end of the day, we have a fully holistic tool that can help the students make a very informed decision as they choose where to go for their industry training, find that perfect fit. Now, I also would love to highlight a few things. Of course, most, if not all of the 3D virtual tours we developed was during the period of the lockdown. And so I want to first of all begin by thanking all the IT hosts for having us, and of course, abiding by all the SOPs during this very difficult time. Now, of course, that also meant that in some instances, we were not able to get everybody on site, as each of the institutions were taking their own measures to ensure that the number of people in the workplaces are minimum. And so that meant that we had to, of course, work with the few people that we found there. And I want to thank everybody that made our time within their institution or their organization a truly memorable one. We will be showcasing some of this work that is already complete. I also want to highlight that as we speak right now, my team has been working so much on some of the key aspects as we're winding up, this development process. Most of the work right now is just studio work and a lot of learning new things, like I mentioned earlier on, to see how we can really push the platform that we are using to bring this 3D virtual tours to its limit. We have been directly in touch with some of the developers of the platform itself and been requesting them to give us certain access to things that they typically do not, so that we can really see what this platform is capable of. But our goal at the end of the day is to ensure that this new medium, this new tool that we will be leveraging can really help us achieve the objectives, which is to ensure that the student instructors at the different, especially at NIC-A and also, in Mubende, are able to, get an experience of these different sites, of these different companies, and then be able to use that information to make an informed decision on what area or what place to go for their industry training. That is really our ultimate goal here. So as we interact with some of these spaces, I want to be really paying keen attention and taking notes and really writing down some of the things that you're observing. And then when the time comes for us to hear from you, we would love to listen to all of those feedback, so that as we continue with the final stages of developing this, the 3D virtual tours, we are able to fully incorporate that and produce something that is very complete and, of course, a very useful tool for the students. Now, if you will allow me, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and then take you to some of the tours. So just give me a second to pull up my screen here. Okay. All right. Can we all see the shared screen? If you can, just give me a thumbs up or something. Great, great. All right. So let us begin by, navigating Ankole. So we want to take you to Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union. Some of you have already been to this place, and some of us haven't been to this place yet. So I hope that, this 3D virtual tour for those of us who haven't been to the place will give us quite vivid picture of what this place actually looks like in real life. Now, a 3D virtual tour maybe to just sort of give some background information and to bring all of us up to speed. A 3D virtual tour is simply a digital rendition of a place, it could be a place that really exists, and typically it's what we call as-built model, which means that what you're seeing is an exact digital replication or a twin of the actual physical space that exists in real life. Now, the platform that we have used and the technology that we use to scan these 3D virtual tours and make them possible is one of the most accurate ones. So what you're seeing here is 99% accurate in terms of its replication of the physical space. And that is quite a big deal. So this is as detailed replication, or perhaps as a detailed rendition of the physical space as you could possibly get, or as is technologically possible right now. Okay. Now, in the intro, I mentioned that one key aspect of this tours, of this 3D virtual tours, is what we're calling the highlight reels. Okay. So I want to begin by mentioning that as we are taking this particular tour across Akpu, I'm going to be able to, apply some of those things that I was highlighting in this introduction. Now, at the bottom of our screen here, you must see several squares here that show different pictures, okay? This is what we call a highlight reel. Now, highlight reel, think of it as a table of content, but also you can think of it as a window that when you click on it, it allows you to actually go and enter into that exact physical location. And that is what a highlight reel is. Now, there's some very practical importance or perhaps applications of this highlight reel. First and foremost, it is one way of ensuring that the learners are able to navigate the entire 3D virtual space with a lot of ease, and to give them a sense of direction as well. So that in case you're lost, you can simply come and say, okay, let me go back to the welcome, to the introduction, or let me go back to the reception. So we have gone ahead and actually labeled each of the key focus areas on the highlight reel here. So as you can see from the very left of our screen here, there's welcome to SCPCU. That is what we currently see. There is a reception, there is quality assurance lab, women in sciences, finance department, stairs to the first floor, open office space. So these are ways to ensure that we can easily make the 3D virtual tour as easy to navigate as possible. So it's sort of a self-guided tour in a sense. I also highlighted in the introduction that at the bottom left corner of our screen here, there is this play button. This is a very useful button as well. And it is something that helps us to really, again, see another core importance of the highlight reel. Now, if you just want to, sit back, relax, and enjoy the tour, you can simply hit that play button. And we shall take you to each of the rooms highlighted, each of the spaces highlighted in the highlight reel here. You will be taken from the very start all the way to the very end with just one click of a button. That is very powerful. And then, of course, next to that play button, there is something here that looks like a cube sort of 3D aspect as well. We call this the dollhouse. A dollhouse is basically, let me play that, just click on that so to give you an idea of the dollhouse. And what we're trying to do here is, first of all, just establish some of the key terminologies that we'll be using as we navigate the spaces. When we talk about the highlight reel, what does it mean? That is basically what we see at the bottom here. When we talk of a dollhouse, what does that mean? A dollhouse is basically, an overview. We extract the entire 3D space that's been scanned and project it and see how it looks in entirety, in whole. And so this is what the dollhouse looks like, okay? And so all the different scans at the end of the day, this is what we're able to produce of, a complete space. Of course, this doesn't make a lot of, sense. It doesn't look very beautiful because we're seeing it from, it's like a cross section. Think of it like an X-ray scan of a complete property. This is what we're seeing here in the dollhouse view. So that is really what the dollhouse view is. So as you're navigating this and you come across that dollhouse view, do not get lost. This is what we're talking about when we talk about a dollhouse view. Now, in some cases, we also want to understand the layout, the physical layout of or the floor plan of a given location or a given property. So that is also right here. So there's another button here that says view floor plan. What this simply does is when you click on it, it actually gives you what the floor plan of that area looks like. Now, this floor plan is actually very accurate. And you could actually extract this in other applications like in architecture. We could extract this and actually give us a complete detailed architectural floor plan, 99% accuracy. But this is what a floor plan is. So again, as we're navigating the 3D virtual spaces and you come across a floor plan, this is what we're talking about. It's basically a slice of what the floor looks like, where the walls are and all that. Now, the dark spaces you see here, this is Okello coffee producer. So these are sacks of coffee. So just think of it as coffee. We couldn't scan through the coffee. We're seeing it from above. So there are a lot of coffee sacks in this particular storage room, as we shall see in just a minute. Okay. So that is what we call a floor plan. Now, the other key aspect is what we call the floor selector. A floor selector is where we are able to move from one floor to the other. So there are certain places we have been to where, there's a ground floor, there's a first floor, sometimes the second floor. And so in the process of developing the 3D scan, we want to replicate that entire layout as well. And so sometimes we're able to, change the flow here. So as you can see, from floor 1, floor 2. Now, just in terms of the naming, convention here, floor 1 is typically our ground floor, and floor 2 is normally the first floor. Okay, and that is what the naming metrics is for the platform that we are using. Okay, so what we are going to do now is be able to take us through the complete 3D tour. Now, whenever you're in any other view other than the 3D model, whenever you see this nice looking individual here, walking, that is basically the icon for you to explore the 3D space. So whenever you get out of this kind of view, so as you can see, it has just brought me to some random location. So we are going to use the highlight reel and go back to the beginning and click on the welcome, and then it takes me back there, okay? Now, as I'm inside this welcome space, I can basically be able to click and easily navigate this. Now, as you're navigating the platform, we're going to encounter what we're calling hotspots, okay? So this nice little circle you see here, there's like a poster with a nice little circle on top of it, just transfixed on the ground, on the floor here. This is what we are calling tags or hotspots. Now, this will typically have different information. What the team has been working on is to color code each of these. So whenever you see this orange color, I hope that is orange. I have issues with colors, but this orange looking color, this is typically video, okay? So we will, of course, at the end of this, as we're doing the pedagogic didactic, we'll be having a full documentation on, checklists, the color codes that are used to that. As you're navigating your 3D virtual space, whenever you come across a hotspot and just look at the color code, you know what information is there. What color code is for a video interview? What color code is for a quiz, for example? What color code is for a picture? What color code is for text? We will be using different color codes for all of this. So this is going to be our convention so that we can easily have one language to communicate, so that anyone who is viewing the 3D tour knows exactly what is going on. So when I come to this introduction of Akpu, this reception area, I'm able to see this hotspot. Now, this hotspot is a welcome message.
This is a farmers organization.
I'm not so sure if you're able to hear the sound. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes, we
awesome.
can.
Exactly. So this is a sample of what the welcome video looks like. So when I tap on that,
that started in
okay, and when you go away, so all you have to do is just drag your mouse to that. If you're using a phone, is just tap on that hotspot, and the video automatically begins to play.
This is a farmers organization that started in 2008, but was initially registered in 2006. The vision of this organization is to transform the community. So we want our community transformed into, especially our farmers, into commercial farmers. And basically our mission is to have resilient production through which farmers are able to bulk their product and add value. Since the time of foundation in 2006, we have gone through a series of growth and challenges. The organization started with 10 member societies and about 3,500 grassroots farmers. We have been able, and with a small working capital of about 1.5 UGX, but we have been able to grow the business from that small, humble beginning now to the current status. At least our turnover is slightly over 20 billion Uganda shillings. And we have recruited more farmers and more member societies. Currently, we have 21 member societies, and we have almost 14,000 farmers. When we started, we had only 3 workers. 2 were volunteers for 1 year, and 1 was a paid worker. But since then, now we have about 87 full-time workers, and also over 100 casual workers who are on temporary basis. In the first year, of trading in 2008, we did about 3/4 of a container, which is about 15 metric tons. But now the business has grown to about 150 containers. The container is about 19.8 metric tons net weight. So we think the business is growing. And the reason why we have been able to reach where we are, our initial strategy, because we came in amidst stiff competition, so we had to devise a strategy, a winning strategy that would make us be able to enter the market and sustain ourselves there. We looked at the trends in the market, and one of the things we thought would take us forward was to go into fair trade certified production, and at the same time to go into organic production. We thought those were would create us a niche position in the market, and that's why we pursued them.
So that is a sample of video hotspot, for example. Now, as you can see, we have made several interviews, and our videos, we want them to be engaging so that we don't lose the learner. And that's why the maximum length for each of the video hotspots, as we'll be seeing across these various tours, is only 5 minutes. Whenever we see ourselves going about 5 minutes, we try to devise means of making it shorter so that the information is precise and straight to the point. So that is a sample. Now, there are two ways of navigating, as I mentioned. You ever use the highlight field, you just hit play and then you navigate through. Or as you're inside here, by simply clicking and walking to each of the rooms, you can actually be able to, see. So this is, for example, the, quality control lab. This is where the cupping and all the interesting things in terms of the quality of the coffee is done. So this happens here in this room, okay? And again, as you can see, there's several hotspots here in this room. Maybe give you another sample here, for example, quality control steps outline, and also, a friend of ours here.
Mainly, I do sampling of coffees and analyzing them, whereby you check it's a coffee outturn. Mainly, I do sampling of coffees and analyzing them, whereby you check it's a coffee outturn moisture, and we check the total outturn. We do cupping, whereby you have to check the coffee profile by checking the flavors, the fragrance, the aftertaste, so to know how the coffee is. I also do a little bit of roasting coffees that we consume here in office, and we sell locally to farmers. I would want to encourage young ladies to pursue sciences and also work in coffee industry, because coffee is very good. It has a lot of opportunities, and also it has very many benefits when you're taking it. So they shouldn't fear to drink coffee of other people's perspectives, because it's really good.
Okay, so that is again, one thing we hope, the instructors recommended to highlight is, of course, the role, gender, issues of gender equity. And so it's very important to hear voices of this kind. And also, I love the encouragement that she gives to other young ladies to join STEM, because what happens in this room is very scientific and so refreshing to see the ladies actually doing a lot of the quality testing here in the lab as well. So this is, one of the things that we're highlighting as well in this video script. Now, you can, of course, be able to walk and take the stairs very easily as well. As you can see here, just navigate to another floor here, okay? And I can see there's another hotspot right in front of me here. And this is, for example, this is information for trainees.
Usually, every year at the ACPCU, we receive interns, students. And before we receive these students, one, they must be having an introductory letter from their institutions, and then they apply for the internship from here. So we need also an application from the student, him or herself. Then when these applications are submitted here, we look at the possible vacancies for the interns we have, and then we admit them accordingly. Once a student is admitted for internship at ACPCU, one, these students must accommodate themselves. We don't provide accommodation for them. ACPCU provides black coffee and lunch for these students at no cost. So lunch and breakfast is free. Supper, they provide themselves. Secondly, when these students are admitted here, they are attached to different departments, depending on the course the student is taking. So before we admit them, we also look at their courses, the courses they are taking. We see whether it is applicable here at ACPCU. And when we find that it is applicable, we admit such a student, knowing that we shall attach this student to this department. Every department has a department head or a supervisor. So we attach that student to a supervisor, and the student will be doing the activities that the department is doing. Activities in that department is what the student will be doing. And again, the supervisor will be able to explain, to guide the students. Then once in a while, we also welcome lecturers or teachers, whatever we may call them, from their institutions to come and supervise them. But of course, they have to notify us before they come. So we welcome them, they do their supervision.
So again, that is again a very core aspect of some of the video interviews that we'll be seeing, the key and critical information for the internees. And this is going to be, of course, a feature that every virtual tour offers. So that as you go to that space, the prospective industry trainees for that particular site are able to know from the person inside there what is expected of them, what to prepare for, as you clearly saw in this particular video interview as well. Okay, so this is again, you're able to walk around, whenever you go to somebody's desk, learn key information from that particular person. So here we're seeing coffee and economy, operations manager. There's an office here for the general manager's office. So this is a typical example of what a text hotspot looks like right here. Now, I must also mention that at this point, we have not been in position to publish and incorporate the quiz to this particular tour yet. We have been very much pushing against time, but that should be complete very soon. Now, what we have done with the quizzes is after every information session, there are actually quizzes to test key particular aspects of that particular, a video, for example, or whenever you're in a space, to make sure that learners are actually gathering this information and not just scrolling by and just, walking around, the structures of the different companies aimlessly. So that is a very key aspect of, again, these tours that I think will help so much in ensuring that the learners are fully engaged and they're paying attention, because we'll be testing their knowledge in as far as, this, their visit of the place is concerned. So that was, some of these sample interviews. Okay. Now I would like to take us again, to the section where we get to see some of the sorting of the coffee here. So as you can see, I'm basically walking as if I'm, let me make my screen put on full screen, as if I'm basically inside there. Okay. Basically, we are all in Akpu right now. We are all in Shema district right now, walking across this property. So the tent you see here, this is what they're calling the sorting tent. And we have some amazing women in these tents who are now doing the final sorting of the coffee. As you will see, whenever the coffee goes through the machine and everything, and the machine does the sorting, this is the final stage. There's certain things that the machines tend to miss. And so the women you see here play one of the most crucial roles in as far as ensuring the quality of the coffee for export. And this job, of course, they're all working and they're all being paid. And this has been something that has been of great impact to a lot of them. And I believe we have a testimonial as well, so that as the students go to the place, they know exactly the kind of impact the place is also having. So okay. So one of the ladies here
in sorting coffee, we pick just the chocolate coffee, the chocolate beans, the white one, the black ones, and the divided beans, then the coffee with the spots. We pick also the stones wherever they are. We also pick the unwanted ones, so as to increase and to improve our quality, to produce a better quality coffee, so as to participate in a world market. And I have been sorting coffee, and it has been we have been producing coffee which is good and which can be with a good quality.
So again, that is one of the ladies sharing what experience sorting coffee is. Now, let me also highlight that one thing that as of this morning hasn't been published yet is the subtitle for these videos. We are very committed to ensuring that the videos are as accessible as possible. So there is actually we use an AI platform to do all the transcribing, and I can see they're all running right now to generate the transcripts. So the final product will have transcripts. Each of the videos will be fully transcribed, so that as someone is speaking, there's a text of what they're saying at the bottom of the screen as well. So I just thought it's important to highlight that as well, to ensure that all the videos are transcribed and captioned and very accessible. That's very important for accessibility purposes. For some people who might be hard of hearing, that's going to be a very key feature as well for all the videos. Okay. So, from here, the learner is able to, to proceed, and continue, walking through the property. Okay. Now, remember, at any time, they can actually just come back to the highlight reel if you want to save some time and say, okay, I need to go to a particular location. But the way we've done this is very systematic. You move from one place to the other, starting from the office. Once you've learned everything there, it's like you're being given a guided tour. Now, something to note is perhaps that before we actually began doing the creation of the 3D virtual tours, one of the persons from each of the sites took us through, a tour of the entire property, and so helped us to structure the 3D tours as well as they would do a physical tour. So that is the same layout that we take through in especially developing the highlight reel, but also replicating that experience for the learners. Of course, the advantage of 3D virtual tour here is that at any point, you can choose to go to a particular point of interest with just a click of a button. Yeah, so where we are right now, this is one of the key, this is basically the export store. So the coffee that is here is ready for export. And typically, if we just have, let's say, a video of a place like this, you wouldn't really get a complete picture. But here, the learner is actually able to walk inside this, this store. So that's something we wanted to create. We want people to be able to walk and actually, even get lost in the middle of the sacks here. There's a lot of coffee here. And if you have not seen coffee, this is a lot of coffee, okay? And as you can see, we want to replicate that experience of actually walking in the corridors of these coffee bugs and see what it feels like and actually experience what it is like to be inside there, okay? So, one is able to be inside there and see exactly how it looks, okay? 360, you can see the roof. As you can see, this is very, very, high stacks of coffee. Now, these bugs, as you can see, they're very, unique, and they're meant so that they cannot slide to avoid accidents, okay? Because this coffee, if it slides, it will just bury you here. But so there's a lot of safety precautions that have been taken here. Now, there is, of course, several hotspots that are coming up here yet in terms of labeling. So, for example, we see here, there's some sort of note, sticky note that has been put on this bag. Each of this coffee that you see here has a batch number. And with that batch number, we are able to trace that coffee to the farmer that actually produced it. So traceability is a very important thing in the coffee industry today. And, we see how that is being done here. So the learners, as they're walking through here, they'll be able to see that. These are hotspots that haven't been published yet as of this morning that basically provide the details of all that kind of information, the batching and how the tracing is done, okay? But this is basically the export room. So the coffee you see here is just waiting for export. Some of them have already been bought, by just looking at the batch number, who the customer is, and they're just waiting to leave the store and get on the ship, okay? Now, from here, the learner goes and sees, the stage before that, how the coffee is actually being sorted and produced. So this is the machine room right here, or the factory room, okay? Where all the coffee equipment are, okay? So we have a complete, 360-degree view of this place as well. Okay, this is the coffee factory. Okay, so the learner is actually able to do things that typically, because of safety reasons, whenever students go, let's say, in large numbers to do a tour of this kind, there's some places they would not have access to just because of safety. And when there are large numbers involved, more precaution has to be taken. In these 3D virtual tours, we were able to take all the safety precautions and actually give learners access to places that they would otherwise not be able to have access to. So climbing up here and seeing exactly how, this, coffee sorter and the Winnie-One machine is actually operating. If let's say you had a large number of students here, they would not be able to access this easily because of safety reasons. So that is now possible here. We're able to take students to places that, in real life, actually, they would not also be able to. So that's one amazing aspect of this. Now here we see the machine room. The entire factory you're seeing here, a lot of these things are fully computerized. So the individuals in this room are using this computer to basically control all that. Now there's another hotspot that is appearing here that explains where we have one of the people explaining exactly what happens inside here and how they're able to control all this huge equipment and machines that you see here with by just clicking buttons. Talk about application of ICT again, okay? So that is, so here we're seeing the, the factory and how the coffee comes in. So I take you out here to the entrance and you see, okay, whenever the coffee comes, the trucks basically come, as you can see a truck here. The coffee is, after going the initial quality test, which is basically how dry it is, the trucks then come and offload them here. So once they're offloaded, this is where the processing, steps begin. The processing steps begin from here. And so, they're taken into the hulling and all that. And again, all this is explained. There's an expert here, standing somewhere here, that really explains all these, steps and stages to us. Okay, the processing steps. Okay, so all that is here. So this is what that is. Now, in the introduction, I mentioned that we have the 3D vertical tours, the walkthroughs, like you've been seeing me do. Okay, I just tap and it takes me there. And then I also mentioned that there's what we call 360. Okay, so each time you come across a 360 view of this kind, this is another technique that we use to basically show places that we were not able to scan because of technical limitations. We had to explore other ways of still showing those places. So for example, the scans only happen within, especially if they're outdoor, in what we call the civic twilight, as we mentioned during the scripting stage, okay? But we still wanted to show some of these places and see what the compound looks like, key aspects like the nurseries, for example. And so that is where we use the 360 view to still make sure that learners can be able to experience and see these things, even though the technology doesn't allow us to. We had to devise other ways around that. So for example, when I click on any of this, it actually takes me. So this is, for example, a 360 view of the compound, okay? So here you can see the wave bridge and everything. So here you just click and then you drag around. And then each time you encounter this person, you see this nice looking human here that is looking like someone walking. That is what shows that you can now walk back to the walkthrough. So when you click on that, it takes you back to a walkthrough where you can be easily be able to walk around. Okay. Now at Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union, one thing that the instructors highlighted that need to be mentioned or perhaps shown to the students was aspects of, for example, the coffee nurseries. Okay, so that is also is also here. So again, this is an area where the camera could not do a complete scan, but by leveraging the 360 view feature, we're able to still show and give that immersive experience of a learner actually being there and seeing all around what the nursery looks like. As you can see, it's quite a large coffee nursery here. And if you observe here, there are two types. There are two types of seedlings we're seeing here. We can see that there's one that has been fully covered and there's one that is not covered. This is because of the different types. So the ones that are not covered, the explanation also will be here in the hotspot, are the ones that are grown directly from the seeds. And then the ones that you see here, here's what we call, they use what we call rooting agents to basically produce them. So they're not growing from seeds. It's a new technology that is being experimented here as well. Our colleagues from Ngatazadi will fully understand this because it's quite similar to some of the techniques that they are doing there. This is an industrial application of what they do their research on. So this is very exciting as well for the learners to be making this kind of linkages. Okay, so that is what the 360 view. So each time I'm here and I want to go back, I simply tap on this person and it takes me back to my tours. Okay, so this is Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union. I would love to open up for some of the questions from here. So that, but before that, again, I want to re-echo that the quiz overlay feature hasn't been published yet as of this morning. We have mostly been very busy trying to, as you can imagine, stitch all this together to come with very seamless flows. But we're well on track of making sure all those hotspots are now active by the end of the day, by the end of this week, and that chapter will be closed. But I hope this has given us a feel, especially for those of us who would love to hear from those of us who have not yet been to Okello Coffee Producers Cooperative Union. If this gives you a clear picture of what this place looks like, because most of the learners will have also not visited this place. And what we're trying to see here and achieve is that an experience of this kind gives them a complete picture of what the place looks like. Okay, so maybe we could take some questions now, and then we can go and look at another site. Mete, I'm seeking your guidance now.
All right. Thank you so much, Robert, for this great presentation. It's really, really impressive to see what you've done with the team the past weeks and months. And of course, also a very big thanks to the agriculture companies and the NIC lectures for all your valuable contributions. Yeah, the floor is definitely ready for to show appreciation, to give feedback, to share some ideas. So whoever has pending questions already, you're welcome to raise your hand. Raising your hand you can do by going to the section below and clicking on the image of reactions, and there you can you have the tab raise your hand, and whenever you click that, you will see that there is a hand raised. If you don't find these reactions, you can also unmute and just ask for the floor. So whoever is ready, you're welcome.
So I already see a question from Marit in the chat.
Yes.
Marit, thank you so much for that question. That's a very good question. So here is what happens. The tour can be viewed offline as well. However, there are some technical considerations for offline viewing. Now, the platform we're using to do this is what we call the Matterport platform. And they have developed a mobile application for offline viewing. So it's called the Matterport Showcase. And of course, this will be included in the documentation for the learners to actually just download the mobile app. With the mobile application, you're able to make the tour available offline, so that when you do not have internet connection or data, you can still be able to take a visit of this particular tour. Now, the limitation to that is that sometimes the videos, especially the video interviews, might not be available in the offline mode, because again, the way the videos are incorporated into the Vati tours is we have to host them somewhere. For example, on YouTube, as you saw, most of the interviews you saw are hosted on YouTube. Now, if you're offline, you won't be able to access YouTube. So the link will be deprecated because it's stored in the cloud. So that is some of the technical limitations of the technology at the moment. However, when you have data as well in terms of data consumption, now key considerations: one, if you are watching and of course exploring the videos as well, videos tend to consume a little bit more data. Secondly, the model, once the model has loaded, if you remember at the beginning, once I clicked play, it loaded. So once it loads, it will typically, easily take you there. So from that point, the data consumption is significantly lowered. So with about 100 to about 300 MBs, depending on how large the space is, you're able to actually, take a tour of the entire place. And but that of course depends on the size of the place. So some places are extremely large because it's very spread out. For example, if you go and look at, we'll see with the Sese Farm Institute, the farm is spread, and so there are a lot of data, to come up with that 3D model, and that can consume a little bit more data. So there's no specific, answer in terms of how much data, but what we know is in terms of the data consumption rate increases as the size of the place increases. And secondly, as also the more video interviews one watches, like just you would on YouTube, the more videos you watch, the more data it consumes. But I hope that answers your question. The offline viewing is possible through the mobile app that can work on any smartphone. Now, that means that we're actually able to also, if you can run a mobile, an Android application, for example, or an iOS application on a computer, we can also make it offline accessible on a computer as well. And we're exploring that option with our colleague James at NIC-A to see how we can actually make this fully accessible offline as well, but the limitations as well. Great. Mete asks another question here in terms of ability to download the videos, PDFs, hotspots, and so on. Yeah. So hotspots, documents like PDFs can be downloaded directly to any device that you're viewing it on. And of course, now the videos are currently hosted fully on YouTube. Again, we're actually working with the database team at NIC-A to make all the videos here also accessible on the NIC-A database. And that will also provide another avenue and platform for the videos to be accessed and easily downloaded as well. We will have a repository for all these videos other than YouTube, for example, a shared Google Drive where learners can easily access and download it on the devices as well. So that is one way of, again, increasing accessibility in terms of the videos and making sure they're downloadable. Now, the videos are all in, when you go to YouTube, we have basically put all of those on a playlist. So it's all in one place. You don't have to go to different places. That's also another way of making sure that the videos can be accessed easily by the learners as well, and also by the instructors. Mita, hope that answers your question.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. And then since we're also talking about the hotspots, I was wondering, now we already saw great video hotspots, and you also mentioned the quizzes that they would still be added as hotspots. Then I was also wondering in terms of, for example, like a PDF document or like a puzzle, spreading like these different puzzle pieces that participants can also use. My question is, in terms of the diversity of the hotspot, will this still be worked on? And also in terms of accessibility, how will we make sure that this is also available offline? Because if, for example, PDFs are downloadable, then I'm assuming that this can also be interesting to diversify so that, yeah, students both with and without access in different ways can have an interactive and meaningful learning experience.
Absolutely. So in terms of the diversity of the hotspots, yes, that is also being worked on. So like I mentioned, the quizzes are being finalized. Just to give you an idea, or perhaps a picture of what happens to do the quizzes here. So in my introduction, I mentioned what we're calling the software development kits, right? So once we do this, we actually have to write a lot of code, okay, and customize this. Now, the Matterport platform, the platform that we are all seeing that makes this 3D tour possible, does not directly allow one to be able to do some of those things. So use some of the coding techniques to be able to actually insert some of the features that the instructors requested for here. So some of those take a little bit longer than others. And then, of course, we also have to do a lot of more requests. There's certain things we don't have access to that we need permission to access for security reasons of the platform as we're doing development of the quizzes. So that's why the quizzes have taken a little bit longer, because we have to custom develop the techniques for that to be displayed on the 3D, and 3D virtual tours, and be able to incorporate that here. That has been a very exciting thing, perhaps one of the most exciting things to do as well, because we are really stretching the possibility of what these tours can do. We have learned from Matterport that nobody has done this yet in terms of fully incorporating all the capabilities of the platform of this nature, the quizzes, especially of the tours. Typically, people just use normal hotspots like videos and text and PDFs and pictures. but including quizzes as well. That is an exciting new application that they're also very much looking forward to see how we're leveraging their platform to do. So that's quite exciting. But we are working on the diversity of the hotspots. And in terms of the puzzles, we are not quite sure what exactly you mean by the puzzles. We have mostly just been working on, the quizzes and seeing how each of the quizzes connect to particular information about a particular, location within the 3D virtual tour. And as they're navigating, there's a lot of what we're calling, connections and linkages, right? So that a quiz that appears in one space might require information that you learn from another corner, for example, somewhere. And so because of those linkages, it makes it more like a puzzle in a sense as well, that you have to, oh, I remember in the nursery bed, I saw this. So using the information in the nursery bed, then you apply that to answer this quiz. That's the kind of, connections we're trying to make and the technique we are applying. We are, of course, very open to new suggestions on how we can, if there are any other new puzzle ideas where technologically possible, we would be loving to incorporate that as well.
Okay, thanks so much, Robert. Yeah, what I meant with the puzzle pieces is indeed, like you say, the same as the quizzes connect all the different pieces together. This could also be an idea with puzzles, like for example, that students have to solve riddles by finding different lines in different spaces, or find different pictures with different words. And actually it's just another way, like you mentioned with the quiz, that they have to go and look for small treasures in different areas. These treasures can be information or pictures or words. And then to actually make sure that the student is very motivated to visit the whole space, and then has an objective to actually search for elements. And then when all these elements are found, then the student knows that it's complete. So that was just another idea of to diversify the quizzes. We can also work with puzzles or riddles. I see that there is many people putting their hands up. So I saw Mr. Omoni was first. You're welcome to take the floor. Mr. Omoni, I'm not sure if you're hearing us. Terence?
Yes, please.
Yes, welcome.
I was saying that the video is actually reminding me, because for me, I visited this place and the video is showing exactly what I saw when I visited this place with the team. And this video hotspot is actually going to help us so much. For us, we used to send our students to go and look for IT hosts by themselves. But using this technology is actually going to reduce the cost to our students to go and look for places for industrial training, because I understand this video we are going to keep in our VA, in our database, whereby we shall just be gathering students and showing them these places using these videos. It is actually going to reduce our work, and it is also reduce the cost to the side of students to go and look for places for industrial training hosts. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this feedback, Mr. Omoni. Cesar, I also saw that you raised your hand. Did you have a question, some feedback, a new idea? Mr. Omoni.
Yes, Madam Mite, thank you, everyone.
Cesar.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Madam Miti, for giving me the opportunity. I'm just sorry. I've been late a bit due to some problem at home. Now, my question is, Mr. Robert Bob Okello was talking about it, and I don't know whether we can get the app, the mobile app that he talked of, where we can get all these things so that we as the students can also get something and see for ourselves and make a right decision for where to go for industry training and to make a right decision to get a good IT OS. That's my question. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for this meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cesar. Robert, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you so much, Cesar, for that question. Yes, the mobile app is actually available on the App Store. We will be making sure that everybody has information on where to get the mobile app for them to be able to view this offline with the mobile app as well. Of course, everybody will be having the link to each of these tours as well, and they'll find it in one place for them to be able to take a tour of all these 5 different site locations. So do not worry, you'll be able to actually have all that information on how you can access these tours and where to find them as well. In terms of us, Marit also asked another very good question here in the chat in terms of how long it takes for one to complete a single tour. Now, the duration is really up to the viewer, but understand that this should take you about 20 to 30 minutes for you to walk through all of the entire property, while of course engaging with the hotspots as well. So, but that is not standard for every location. Some locations are bigger than others, and therefore there's more information to pay attention to than others. So that means one will spend a little bit more time on those. So I would say that, to run this from about 20 minutes to maybe about 45 minutes for one to, depending on the size of each location. And of course, a recommended speed of really engaging with all the hotspots. But if you're just perusing through and taking the tour, it should take you much less time. I hope that gives you some idea in terms of how much time it takes to walk through the platform. Some people are having connectivity issues. I understand that this is being recorded as well. And so I believe that the link will be shared as well for everybody after this as well, for those who are struggling with connectivity. Okay, great. And Cesar, I hope I was able to answer your question as well. Do we have any more questions?
All right, I see that Sharon has unmuted. Sharon, welcome to take the stage.
Thank you very much, Robert. The video was so interesting. And I just wish that if we could now have the access now to go, like for me, I'm a student, and we normally not get used like those things. But actually, I watched the video, and the video was so interesting. I was feeling like I was now there really. I was going to get a lot of technology as usual, and then I decide what to do in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, for that feedback. Your excitement makes us very excited too. And again, the links will be made available. So Mita will be sharing all the links to these 5 different locations. And by the end of today, we should all be able to have access to this. Okay. Now, the amazing feature that perhaps I didn't mention of these 3D virtual tours is that we can, with just one link, the link you get doesn't change, but we can always continue building and adding more hotspots and adding new information and updating things. So think of the link to each of these hotspots like a link to a website. The website address remains the same, but the content can keep changing. So it's dynamic content, and that's very, very powerful. That means that we can always keep updating. We can always keep adding new things. If certain things get old, we can always remove them. So it's always fresh, it's always new. And that is making it, again, a very useful tool, especially on the side of the instructors, but also on the side of the company. If some things change, some information, for example, if information about for the trainees change, maybe ACPU today is not providing SAPA, but maybe after some time they'll be providing SAPA. So we can update that information at any time. And so that is something that makes it also a very useful tool. All right. Very good question again here coming from Mite. Do the lecturers in agriculture institutions have access to make changes and updates on the website? Yeah, so we can grant access to to a certain number of people. However, some of the content updates are rather technical. So what we'll do is basically offer a portal, a means for instructors to actually be able to suggest some additions that they would love to see for each of the sites, and then we can perhaps just get our technical team to incorporate those. So because of the technicality involved, sometimes in being able to edit the content, we tend to limit how many people have access to the back end, because that's, if anything goes wrong, it could bring everything down. So we tend to ensure that those who are having editing access, especially, are those that have some technical know-how. However, there's a very new exciting feature here. Let me just expand my screen and show it to you. If you see right here, there's this notes, okay? So with these notes, you are actually able to just come here and offer us, some feedback, okay? Just click on this add button, and then you can actually just, tap anywhere and give us some notes and say, hello, for example, so this is a very useful tool to suggest additions. Hello, Marifa Sasa, I have an idea for some new hotspots. Okay, then I can say see attachment. Okay, I haven't had my morning coffee, so my spelling not cooperating, but that is it. So you can actually attach a document here. Okay, you can go on, maybe you have all the notes in terms of the changes or the updates that need to be made. Just go and upload that document and paste it there. Maybe you have a link on a Google Drive where all the information you want to add, it's all there. Okay, and then you just say add. We will automatically be able to see that and see how we can add it. So this notes tool is a very, very useful tool for the instructors to actually suggest additions. This is something that is new actually on the Matterport platform, and so we are already putting it to great use. Okay, so that is it. And each time our team goes, we can, because we have admin access, we'll be able to just say, okay, if it's resolved, we'll just say it has been resolved, and then we go back. So the notes feature, okay, that is your best friend. If you're an instructor, if you want to suggest some new features, some new hotspots, just utilize this button here that says notes, tap on where you want it to be, and then give us the information. I hope this tool makes you excited as much as it makes us. So it makes this a more engaging feature. And Mita, you also asked some time ago whether some aspect of chatting and collaboration can happen, and for learners to engage with each other. The notes are also one way to do that, to ensure that learners can actually interact with one another and communicate with one another. Now, it's not the same as a live chat feature, but still it allows for some aspect of collaboration where people just share their notes, maybe some insights they've learned about a particular thing, they can share it there as well. Yeah.
Wow, this is really great. Thank you so much. And it will indeed allow, like you mentioned, a lot of interesting communication going on between the different users. I am wondering if we can hear some feedback from other lecturers from NICA, but also from the agricultural institutes. If you have some extra ideas, some questions for Robert, you're very welcome to take the floor and share your questions. I see Infinix Hot 9 Play has unmuted. You're welcome to take the floor.
Yeah, just this is Kodet John Mark Ngeta Sadi.
Okay, hi, Mr. Kodet.
Yes, okay. You know, I'm a bit mobile. That's why I opted to a phone again, because I'm a bit out in the field, not using the laptop. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Robert, thank you really for what you have shown. It is so interesting. But of course, for me, I'm also concerned because I have not seen particularly my part being played like you have so much delved on the coffee city organization. How I love to also to have a look at really what was captured in Nyera here so that it can be a point of learning and some improvements can be made with the time. Thank you. Hello?
Yes, John, absolutely. Thank you so much, for sharing that. Yes, we
Yes.
definitely have all the spaces. There's Chima Foods here, for example, as you can see. We have, let me take you to your lab, actually, one of your soil labs here at Ngeta Zari, okay?
Yeah.
And so just to give you a sneak peek as well. So here, and let me see, we have a welcome here. I think this should be you as well. Let it load and yeah. So
you are most welcome to development. This institute is one of the 9 zonal agricultural research and development institutes in the country, and it is here to handle the areas covering Lango and Acholi sub-regions. The institute started way back in early 1930s as District Farm Institute by that time. Of course, you remember that time we had the issues of cooperatives, like in areas like northern here, there was cotton growing, and it was one of the District Farm Institutes that was handling the cotton growing in the region. In 2005, National Agricultural Research Organization, through the Act of Parliament, came up with the issue of reinstating Zonal Agricultural Research Institute, and it came to being by the Act of Parliament of 2005. So the institute also has a mandate to carry applied and adaptive research for the mid-north and northern ridge agroecological zones. The vision is to become a center of excellence in agricultural research and development. And our mission is to generate, develop, package, and disseminate improved agricultural technologies for increased productivity in the sub-region. The institute sits on an area of 505 acres, which is about 222 hectares of land. And as you can see, it's just divided by the main highway to Kitgum. We also have our satellite station at Kitgum, which serves, of course, the extreme north. That one sits on an area of about 78 acres of land. It's just in the center of Kitgum municipality. Otherwise, like for us here, as I've already told you, we have do research that is demand-driven. That is what the people will want to be done for them. Of course, now you can't force somebody to eat what he or she does not want. So we really need, the institute is here to generate technologies that are needed by the communities around. So that's why we see that it is a center of excellence for generating technologies that are really geared to the needs of the people within the zone. You are most
all right, John. I hope that gives you a sneak peek of that excellent. You gave us a very excellent overview of the history of Ngata. So all the 5 locations highlighted. Maybe we can also give you a sneak peek of Chima Foods, for example, just to make sure that everybody feels included. We did not leave anybody out. Okay, so this is this is Chima Foods again here, and we have our director here also giving us a welcome.
Chima Foods is a non-government organization and indigenous to Uganda, registered with the NGO Bureau. And we were founded in 1995. We are working in different programs. Largely, we are working in the Kasese district. That's where our offices are. But Chima Foods is registered to work countrywide. We have several programs. And our main mission that we are here, Chima Foods promotes socio-economic empowerment through engaging communities and in sustainable development. That is our major mission. And the vision is we want to see an empowered community with all people living in dignity. Chima Foods has an impact statement that we want to see our communities moving through economic development. The impact statement that communities in western region of Uganda sustainably conserving the environment and the ecosystem to benefit from the ecosystem economically, and also be able to have sustainable food diets in a reliable system, and then access better markets for their products by the year 2025. We are working through different values. Chima Foods has different values. One of them is the equity and trust. The other value is honesty and integrity. And also next value is quality of work, which is very key to us. And then we also focus on teamwork, and we're also looking at innovativeness and creativity. Now, as an organization, we are working in various programs. We have a youth empowerment program. We are also having a natural resource program. Then we are having a program on gender equity and cooperative development. Then we are also looking at extensive development of the young people through different skills. I would like to take this opportunity to conduct you through these different sections so that you're able to get the details of each program.
So again, that was just a welcome from Chima Foods. As you can see, this is the compound of Chima Foods. And as you highlight, you can notice here's a lot of hotspots popping up everywhere. That means a lot to learn here. So, we were able to actually give you a feel of being the compound of Chima Foods all the way in Kasese. So for those of us who haven't been to Kasese yet, this is Chima Foods for you, okay? So you're just walking into these rooms and actually fully engaging, as you can see here, partnerships are very key aspects of what they do here. Gender equity in agriculture, fully highlighted here as well.
What makes us unique as Chima Foods in all our department sectors is the issue of gender balance, whereby we exercise gender right away from our board of directors, the management, the staff, and then their members that we work with. This organization is managed by 7 board members, 3 women and 4 men, whereby the 3 women takes around 42.9%, and the 4 men takes around 57.1%. When you come to the staff, we have 15 staff members, 5 women, which makes 33.3%, and 10 men, which makes 66.7%, that is controlling the day-to-day operations of the organization. We also work with farmers across.
Okay, so that's just a key aspect of the the gender issues of gender equity as well. So we have we do have some of the trainings. There's a clip from the training school as well. Mita, thank you for asking about that. We did visit the training school, and most of the interviews actually happened in the training
at
school.
Kima Foods. We also,
though the training school was closed because we're in the middle of the lockdown, and so we're not able to do a 3D scan of the school. But most of the activities were captured from at the farm itself.
At Kima
for
Foods,
example, this particular video you're seeing.
We also have irrigation. We practice 2 types of irrigation, that is surface irrigation and drip irrigation. In drip irrigation, we use solar energy to pump water from the underground tank to the main reservoir, which supplies the water to the irrigation pipes. So that irrigation water.
Yeah. So all these clips you're seeing, this is actually from the training school, the Chima Foods training school, and everything is very practical there as well. So the irrigation systems and all that, learners get to do very practical stuff, and I believe that the learners on this call can also see exactly what to expect as they're there. So we are able to visit a very beautiful place as well in the school. Maybe I should also give us a glimpse of Gulu County Dairy, and then we shall also go to Sesa Farm Institute, so that we'll get a sneak peek into all of this. Like I mentioned at the beginning or somewhere there, everybody will be able to have a link to all the sites by the end of the day. We'll be sharing them with Mete, and as we add all these other hotspots and the remaining feedback you're giving them, you'll be seeing them in real time as they're happening. But this is Gulu Country Dairy Farm. This is their training, the training area as well. There's a lot of interesting things going on here. So for example, very much information actually on the walls there. These are like talking walls. So you can clearly stand in front of this and actually see what this diagram is saying. Something we also saw here, it's a lot of, call them 10 commandments, okay? So you're able to stand here and actually read it as if you're in that room very clearly, very vividly. See this picture of, the 10 commandments of balancing a ration, okay? It looks like here everything is a 10 commandment. There's, 10 commandments of genetics. So by walking around this room, you're able to learn a lot about dairy farming, okay? So this is Gulu County Dairy Farm. Let me use this chance to take us inside their milk processing plant, okay? Their milk processing plant. All right, do we see that?
Yes, thanks.
All right, great. So this is the milk processing plant. I want to take you to a room that not everybody has access to, because the hygiene level here is extremely high. But you are now able to actually walk inside and see all these machines. So this is all the machines, for yogurt, ice cream making. It all happens here, and we'll have our spots here of people explaining how that process works. There's a laboratory here where the quality of the milk is tested before it comes inside here to make sure that it's a healthy milk and that it's free of any pathogens. And we take you inside all this, and actually, you know, the learner will be able to interact with this equipment, you know, and stand in between here. So as you can see, you're basically in the middle of the milk processing plant here, and see all these different machines. There will be explanations, of course, for all of this and what each of this, you know, does and how the milk gets into this. But I'm just giving you a quick overview for you to see the machines and where your yogurt comes from, or where your, you know, ice cream comes from. But this is the milk processing plant at Gulu, Uganda country dairy. Okay. Then which other place haven't we been able to visit? Let's see. I think it's Sese. There we go, Sese Farm. So I mentioned earlier on that some locations are very spread out. And so we had to use a lot of interesting techniques to be able to scan such vast areas of land. Sese Farm Institute is one of those places, as we will see here. As you can see from this map, you know, that is loading, you can tell that it's, you know, dollhouse, like I mentioned earlier, looks a little bit different, you know. So this is pretty much, you know, the map of the entire place. So for those of us who haven't been to the highland, to Kalangala, here is what the place looks like. So this is the administration block. I'm going to take us straight to the principal's office, and then maybe we can hear a welcome message from the principal as well. So as I walk inside here, there's my hotspot here, and let's hear what the principal has to say.
Welcome, internees. My name is Avasa Innocent Stephen, principal of this institution. This institution is called Sese Farm Institute. It was established in 1964, and with its primary objective was to make sure that the locals and people outside can get skills in agriculture. Its motto is "Our motherland is agriculture," while our vision is as it is written here, because we do like this, so that whoever enters here can easily understand, and our vision is to create
so what he's pointing at is actually already, if I go back to the 3D model, is right there behind him. So that's a key aspect of this. So you can actually see what he's pointing at the mission statement here. So you can actually read it. Okay. So that is what the principal is pointing at in that video. So if it were only a video, we would never know what the principal was pointing at. But since we're inside the room, we can actually just take a step back and see what is on that wall that the principal is pointing. And that's a key feature of a 3D, you know, virtual tour of this kind. But this is, you know, Sese Farm Institute. There is a very huge milk processing plant that the institute is currently working on, and would love to highlight. But as you can see in the highlight reel here, there's everything, you know, horticulture. So for example, if you look at, let me just highlight some of these horticultural things. So you can see how the techniques that are being used here. You know, you are basically able to take a walk on their compound here. And this is very, very interesting, okay? Different horticultural crops here. Now, the time we went here, it was a very dry spell at the time, no rains. But still, we can see some sign of life here, but the place is extremely green all the time, even when there's no rain, as you can see here. And if you notice, along the compound, along the walkways, you know, there are what we call, you know, compound fruits from cassava. They don't just use flowers, you know, and the principal explains that, you know, in front of the office there, the learners will be able to see that, how everything on the compound is, you know, is something you can eat. So all the fruits, everything they use for decoration here is edible. So I want to take, you know, of course, there's the greenhouse here, you know, And we'll be able to open this greenhouse because there's someone explaining what happens there. The piggery project, it's highlighted here as well. Okay. And then the new milk processing plant. So this entire place is, livestock production program, where we have, a huge factory. The factory is still under construction, but, reaching its final stages as well. As you can take inside look here, we can see how, it's a big, it's quite a huge factory, as you can see. The equipment, once equipment are here, we could be able to update that as well and put all the equipment here. Again, that's another very useful feature of these 3D scans. And of course, where we have the cattle. So as you can see, it's still work in progress. Construction work is still happening. But I think that this will be another destination for learners to really get to learn more about dairy farming as well. Industrial dairy production here at Chima Foods. But that is, at Sese Farm Institute. But I thought I should highlight that for you. I hope I've been able to at least highlight all the 5 different locations, because we don't want anyone to be left out. But the links will be shared today, and we'll be able to actually walk through all the spaces. Okay. Mite, back to you.
Thank you.
More questions? Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Robert. I'm thinking that we haven't heard Mrs. Nakubulwa Sarah, and I see that she has just unmuted. So Sarah, welcome to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Mite. Robert, thank you for the great work done. It's really wonderful. Personally, I visited these places, and even if I had not visited, you have brought everything closer. But now I have 2 questions. Is it possible to do this video recording using smartphones? If it is possible, the training, is it possible to come and train lecturers and students of agriculture so that when they go for their training, they can record those things which you have not recorded, and then you attach them to a video to add more value. For example, when they are carrying out the activities in those places, students themselves to video record themselves when they are carrying out those activities, then after they send to you, you attach to that particular place. I think it will bring out a clear picture of what is really being done in those places. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Sarah, for that very insightful, feedback. And I think the answer is a resounding yes. It's very, very possible to empower the learners to actually, when they go there, because like we mentioned, when we went to these places, we're in the middle of the lockdown, none of the centers had students, and some of the activities are not currently being done. So we can actually make this more of a participative and active learning process, that when learners go to the sites, they can document some of those things to help for the benefit of other learners in the future as well. And so, yes, you can actually make very quality video recordings of different processes using simple smartphones, if it has good camera. And if the quality is good, we can always be able to actually add those to some of these virtual tours. So that's a very good idea. And I think we would love to, find ways of actually making sure our students have the basic skills of using their smartphones, for example, to record and document these activities. Yeah.
I'm also thinking it's a very, very nice idea of Sarah, because it can really bring out testimonies and real life experiences of students if they can make videos on the work that they're doing, and then this can be added to the virtual visits. That could be, such a wonderful idea. Thank you for sharing this, Sarah. I am also curious to Jim Wasilwa's opinion, because we haven't heard you yet. So you're welcome to share questions if you have any, or ideas, some feedback.
Surely. Thank you very much, Mite, for this opportunity. To me, what I was imagining is what has really come out from from the experts who shoot these videos. The only fear that I have is how to put these videos offline, because at the moment I'm really seeing they are simply just online. Because with the database, we're thinking that we're going to put it in a database, have it in a access wherever they would wish, whenever they wish to access these videos. So I'm really thinking, I don't know how cost effective it is to get it offline, because when it gets online, then definitely it will be expensive, and it may not fully meet the learners demands based on the on the internet connectivity that we always have, and the expenses of data. We are thinking it would be free of charge to the learners to access. Thank you very much. But otherwise, the work is, I've really loved it. I've liked the idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jim, for raising that very, very important concern. Accessibility is absolutely key, and that has to inform every decision we make to make sure we can leverage this tool. You might have heard me mention at the beginning that there are options for the tools to be accessible offline using particular mobile applications, which will be made available to everybody as well, how they can get that. That will all be included in the documentation, how they can access the mobile app, where to download it from, and make it offline. But also, each and every video interview that is in these 3D virtual tools will also be available on the offline database at NIC-A. So students can be able to access them whichever way they access this database offline at NIC-A. They'll be able to access all those video interviews as well offline. You know, it's going to be in the NIC-A database that is currently being developed by colleague James. Okay, so that is going to be taken care of as well. So I believe from the database they can also be able to download that. But like I also mentioned, all the videos will also be shared. There will be a shared Google Drive repository where students can just go and download all those videos as well, and then be able to view them offline whenever they like to enhance their learning experiences. So the different options that we'll be exploring to ensure that this resource is as accessible as possible. And of course, during the pedagogic didactic that I believe is on the 10th of this month, we will be sharing all those details on how teachers can access them, how learners can access them, and also aspects of what Sarah raised out, empowering students to be able to create videos that can then be shared in the testimonials and all that.
Not students only, even instructors.
Exactly. Even instructors. Thank you so much. Instructors are also very important in this process. So everybody, will be able to know exactly how to access it. And most importantly, how to actually use this as a tool for pedagogy, as a tool for instruction, as a tool for learning. So that workshop is going to be entirely focused on that. Okay. So just to give you kind of a heads up as well, on the 10th of September, we'll be having experts really diving deeply on how we can use this tool to the best of its ability.
Thank you so much, Robert. In addition to Jim's question, I was also wondering how long will these virtual visits be available? As I mentioned on Monday, the TAP program is ending this year, and we already discussed a little bit how these can still be available in the future. But maybe it's also a nice, nice information to share here with our colleagues, how you plan to make sure this solution is sustainable and accessible for our colleagues throughout the future.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mite, for bringing that up. And that's very important. We would love for this tool to be accessible, for as long as it's relevant and it can be still used by both instructors and students. So at the moment, the platform is set to be, the content and all the virtual tools are set to be available for 2 years. With a 2-year licensing platform license that allows for this to be hosted for 2 years. From the time we complete this project for 2 years, it will be made available. But the issue of sustainability still kept coming. How can we make sure that it's even accessible beyond the 2 years of the license that we have? And so our team has been, looking at all possibilities, and we have actually found out that it's possible to, adjust the hosting arrangement to ensure that the platform is accessible beyond the 2-year period at no cost, so that it can still be used even after the TAP program is long done. These resources will still be accessible. So we have found ways to actually, freely host the platform after the 2 years by simply changing the hosting accounts and into different locations that can still be, all the work is going to be on our end, the administrative work and all that. This is something that we'd love to do as a way of giving back as well beyond this program, because sustainability is absolutely key. So we have a mechanism in place. We have already tested it, and it's going to work to ensure that this content is accessible for more than 2 years. So the current license will take us for 2 years, and then beyond that, it is still going to be accessible at no extra cost. So what is in terms of the end of the TAP program, that is fully addressed as well. So that means it's going to be a truly sustainable resource and solution to ensure that it can still be used long after the TAP program has been concluded as well. Yeah. Great. Oh, and also, Mite, you had asked the question whether, when we went to Chima Foods, we were able to visit the different, there are other locations, the farmers that the Chima Foods, work with. Yes, we actually did that. So as you can look at this compound, there's several hotspots, but we visited, partnership is a very key thing, for example, at Chima Foods. So we were able to visit all the different farmers that Chima Foods partner with. In the different locations, from fish farming, banana growing. So for example, this is one of the farmers, for bananas.
Surely there is sweetness in banana planting, and because during a scarcity like these days, I used to sell a bunch at 40, 35. So during COVID last year is when my banana reduced the prices. But I'm happy that generally my banana from this farm is not always cheaper as to others. Because when farmers come here, they come for many things. One, they will acquire knowledge, they will get suckers, so they like coming here, and I normally sell them the way I need now. So it's now 3 to 4 years with my banana plantation, and sure I have harvested a lot. Among other benefits I get alongside getting money, of course, I get food for my members. We don't buy anything. This banana of mine, actually, this plantation is acting me to be as a source of meat, maybe in case I need other what. I get milk from my banana because I sell and I get family milk. I get everything from my family, from my banana plantation. I started with around 450 plants. That was almost an acre, 1 acre. I went on increasing. I'm now having a population of 780 something banana plants here. Now if I add the other one up, I'm now reaching 1,000 plus, and my target was 1,000. Because when I calculated, even if the bunch would be sold at 3,000, annually I would be the richest man. Now, what I use for farming, of course, I base on now we are neighboring cattle farmers. So I really buy cow dung, I feed my banana plantation. Really, I don't even buy a trouser. I focus on this one first, then I do others at last. If you want to be a successful farmer, you must put the following in mind. One, you must know that what you are doing is a business. If you do farming as a business, really you'll get what you need to get. Of course, you will not hesitate putting back money. Many of our farmers, after maybe establishing the plantation, then they feel that maybe God will provide everything. And remember, you are either 40 or 30 years. You will have taken 30 years on the land, but you have never thought of feeding the land. So one of the important aspects we need to be thinking, and what I do basically, is to feed my banana plantation. At least every season I ensure that each plant has taken at least some little. Because when it used to give me a bunch at 40, 50, really I was calculating if the bunch can be at 40, 50, really, where it has grown from, do I think there is still food there? So that's what impressed me, and be able to really feed that soil.
Okay, so that's one of the farmers that Chima Foods partners with as well, sharing his experience and of course some very key insights about banana plantation and just on how to be a successful farmer. So there's several of these interviews of different farmers from fishing and all that the learners will be able to interact with as well. Yeah, Mite, back to you.
Yeah, nice. And do they also mention items of yes, sustainability in terms of environment, climate smart agriculture? Because that's also something that we had in the scripts that we developed with the lecturers.
Yes. So there's actually one of the farmers that is talking about sustainable farming. So things, for example, they use things like solar energy, which is green energy. They also explaining some of the agroecological practices. For example, with respect to, let's say, vanilla growing. So all of those are highlighted as well, in their livestock. Yeah. So the agroecological approaches are also highlighted. There's several hotspots here, so I can't go directly to which one, but yes, that's definitely highlighted. Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. And did you have other challenges in covering the scripts that NIC lecturers developed?
Yeah, so most of the, in terms of covering the script, we didn't really experience any major challenges. I must say that when we got to the field, there were some, additions, right? So sometimes, there were several key activities that maybe we missed out on the script a little bit, and that, we had to, definitely include in the hotspot. There were also situations, so for example, in Gulu County Dairy, when we went there, it was in the middle of the second lockdown. And so the factory wasn't working on yogurt. They were not doing milk processing because the demand for milk was quite high, but the supply was constant. So they didn't have enough milk actually to make yogurt and to be able to do things like ice cream, for example, because all the milk was being actually bought from the farm. In fact, some people paid even in advance before it was being milked. So because of that, the Gulu County Dairy Farm wasn't doing milk processing during that time. So that was one major challenge that we witnessed. The same applied as well in other places like in Nyatazadi, for example. It was locked down. Almost all the key staff were away. And so some of the activities were not being conducted because the personnel to do that were not there. Or sometimes the resources to do that were not there because of the limitations of the lockdown. But other than those particular challenges, everything stayed according to the script, and everything, the only additions actually just added more flesh to the script to cover a little bit more information that we might have not included in the script. But that was a major challenge because of the lockdown. Some activities that were highlighted in the script were not fully happening, so we couldn't demonstrate it all that could be done is for someone to just explain them. Would have loved, for example, to actually document the yogurt making process, for example, but there was no milk to make the yogurt. So they just had to explain it and use other hotspot techniques to be able to show that as well. Yeah.
All right, thank you for this answer. I'm wondering if my fellow colleagues, Rita and Stephen, as education advisors, also still have some questions for Robert and the team. Welcome, Rita. I saw you joined us later. I'm very happy that you are here. I'm not sure which sections you did see, but it would be interesting to get a first impression. And yeah, if you have some clarifying questions, welcome to share.
Thank you so much, Marit, and not Marit, I keep confusing it. Thank you so much, Nite.
That's okay.
And thanks to Marita Sasa for all the inputs they've put into this. It's been amazing. I hadn't followed so much. And I joined in a bit late, almost an hour and a half late, but it's still okay. I have questions in my mind, but I don't know where we started from, and it's a bit challenging, but I still hope that I can link up with the team, with Robert and his team, and get to understand this. There is a component that came into my mind regarding the training, which Madam Sarah talked about, and the component of ownership, which I think one of the colleagues also raised, but still taking us through this, I would still think it would be the training that is necessary to carry forward. But I think Robert and his team are not far. I would probably give him a call and see how best to get into this and I get to know more and where the concerns are. I'm sure they can easily be answered. Because when I looked through, there are still some hotspots that are missing, the questions not coming out, what is there, what is where. So probably when it is a complete link, it can really give the impression of what do we expect here. How can this go on? So I'm still positive about this, and thank you to you, Mite, and the rest of the team for this. Thank you. I submit.
Thank you so much, Rita, for sharing. And it's also interesting. Rita also lives in Lira, and Robert also lives in Lira. And the main office is also based in Lira. So yeah, I think there's some interesting exchanges that can happen.
Absolutely. Rita would love to definitely, get in touch. You're most welcome to check us out at our office on plot 26 Boundary Road. We'll be happy to welcome you here, but feel free to reach out and give us a call as well, and we can have a little bit more deliberations. But thank you. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you, Robert. I will before the 10th, so that before we get into the pedagogical component of it, at least I would have some of my questions cleared, and I'll give you a call. You're just in my backyard, so I'll look for you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Fantastic.
Nice. Any reaction from Stephen? Or questions or feedback? Colleague Stephen? Otherwise, if there is other colleagues who still have questions or feedback for Marifa Sasa, now is the time. As Robert already mentioned earlier, we will, after this meeting, we will definitely share all the links so that you can go through these in your own time, watch the videos, and then probably you'll also get some more inspiration to ask some extra questions and add some ideas and give feedback. The nice thing is also that it's very dynamic, so that, like Robert also mentioned earlier, it's not because we are working on this now that it can't evolve in the coming months. So, yeah, there's a lot of openness here. I am not seeing any hands raised, so I think we can go to the next session of this meeting, and that's about the way forward. So yeah, after this meeting, the reports of the meeting minutes shall be shared, the link shall be shared, and Marifa Sasa will take the virtual visits to the next step and integrates all your feedback, and yeah, make sure that the visits are taken to the next level. I'm wondering, Robert, do you want to share something on the timeline, and can you already give a sneak preview on the pedagogic didactic workshop that we're having next week? Should we prepare something? Yeah, maybe you can give some insights on our way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the 10th, we will be having the pedagogic didactic workshops, and you know, our TVET specialist in VR and AR, a researcher is actually here, Jimmy Moses, the team. He'll be playing a very pivotal role in this. And I know we'll be reaching out to some of the colleagues as well from from VVOB, to really see how we can make that experience as meaningful and as impactful as possible. What we will be doing on that day, the real key agenda is to really empower the instructors and the learners on how to best leverage this as a resource and as a tool, for the learning process. We are hoping that by that time, everything will be complete, and we are actually pretty much committed to doing that. So by the 10th, we will have everything fully completed, and so we would still be open to welcoming your feedback, between now and then as well. But every feedback that comes in, especially those that we got in today, will already be incorporated. By Saturday, we are really giving this our maximum attention, as you might expect. And so our goal is to ensure that the resource is as complete as possible, and that on the 10th, our goal is to ensure that we can empower everybody to really leverage this tool. What you can do between now and then, in addition to perhaps brainstorming on further feedback and things that can be improved, is to think about, especially the instructors, as an instructor, what are some of the ideas? What are some of the possibilities you want to imagine? What are some of the ways you see yourself utilizing this resource to really have an impact on the students and on the learners? How can you possibly integrate this resource in your teaching, in your classrooms as well? So this is some of the things you can begin thinking about. And we'd hope for the pedagogical didactics to be very interactive, okay? It's not just going to be us presenting, it's going to be very, very interactive, because you are the ones that will be in the classrooms, the learners will be using this as well. So we want to be able to get input and really collectively brainstorm on how we can, utilize this tool. Our role is to basically show you what is possible and make sure that you are empowered enough and have what it takes to make what is possible happen. So that is going to be the goal of that. But ultimately, how do we leverage this to achieve whatever the learning objectives are, whatever the learning goals are, what are some of the outcomes we hope to get out of this? And so we will be really focused on helping you achieve those goals that you hope to achieve with this tool, by making sure that you have the technological prowess to navigate the platform, but also we'll be sharing some ideas on how you can leverage this for maximum impact. So that is what the 10th will look like. So timeline-wise, again, by the 10th, everything will be complete. But again, this is very dynamic, so it doesn't mean that after that, we cannot keep adding things. We can always keep, making this to morph as needs arise, and that is a very, key feature of this platform that we are very committed to utilizing, making the best out of. Jimmy Moses, I don't know if you have anything to add in terms of what to expect for the pedagogic didactic. Is the network strong enough? Jimmy Moses, can you possibly hear us? Okay, maybe not, but yeah, that's what to expect. So what you can do between now and then is to just work on think of what you like, how you possibly utilize this tool in the classroom, and also for the learners, how you could possibly how you see yourself utilizing this tool, and frame maybe some questions around those areas, because we want to actually empower you to do that. Mite, with your permission, I saw that Terence raised his hand, so maybe he has something to say as well.
Yes, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Omoni.
Terence, do you want to perhaps unmute yourself?
Or is there another NIC-A colleague close to Mr. Omoni to share his gadget, his or her gadget, so that Mr. Omoni can ask his question? Maybe Jim or Sarah, Leonard and Betty. Jimmy, I see that you're raising your hand. Welcome to unmute.
Okay, thank you very much, Amita. About the session we're going to have, pedagogic reduction. I believe, speaking from a tutor's, a facilitator's, a lecturer's point of view, I want to believe that all of us will see how best we shall discuss and see how best we can utilize this kind of opportunity. Having been in the classroom for the last 8 years, at the front bit of it, and interacting with the students and at different levels, I see this as, the next big thing in terms of interaction between the tutor and the student. Because I mean, when you look at the first video, we looked at the Ankwali Coffee Producers Cooperative Union, and there's that taking you through this whole process of, coffee making, how best can you process the coffee, and the different elements, the terms that are being used. When you look back into your curriculum, into your, lecturing content, are you able to see that all that is captured? You can even agree with the students during that time that from what we've watched about the video, what do you think? Do you think we can add some elements to our curriculum? Because that is in the field and they're telling you how it's done, the best way to do it. So I believe it's going to be quite interactive. I want to believe it has to be interactive between the tutor and the student and create more interest points. I mean, for the student, I look at it from the point of view, you've watched this video, you know exactly what is happening, and you've already collected, the key questions on some of those aspects that are being discussed. So it's something that I see that has to be, properly utilized. But let's see how it goes on the 10th. But I want to thank Marifa Sasa for this initiative, and also VVOB. This is the first of its kind in Uganda, and when it comes to the education sector, this is the first of its kind. I hadn't seen it anywhere, but I believe it's going to create a lot of, the platform it's giving us is unprecedented in terms of interactivity and interest on the side of both the tutors and the students. Others, thanks to everyone on the platform, and see you on 10. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jimmy, for these great words. And yeah, we really look forward to the 10th, to this session. I think it's going to be very interesting for all of us. I'm wondering if Terence has gotten the availability to connect to audio, or if there is another colleague from NICA that can assist him. So that he can share his audio with us. Otherwise, if this is not possible, yeah, Terence, you're always welcome to contact us via email or via WhatsApp with some extra comments and feedback. Let's move to the final step of our meeting.
My concern has been addressed.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Our concerns of this morning have been addressed. Let's move to the final step of the meeting, and that is our group picture. So I invite you to all share your videos so that we can see where you are. At this point, we can see your faces, and then we shall take a picture. All right, nice. I see that my internet was blocking a little bit, but everybody is almost on. We are still waiting for Stephen, Mr. Principal from Sese Farm, and Jim Wasilwa, Abraham. While we're waiting for them, we can already practice a little bit with our picture skills. Nice, Abraham is there. Cesar is with a friend. You're welcome to join, friend of Cesar. All right, I'm going to count from 3 to 0, and then we're all gonna put our most beautiful smile for this picture. So 3, 2, 1, smile. All right, great. Let me already, nice. I see that Jim also. Great. Let's take another one. This is already a very nice one. I'll also share this one with the email, of course. 3, 2, 1, smile. Nice. Okay, thank you so much, colleagues, for this inspiring meeting, for all your feedback. It has been very great to be with you this morning. If there are other people who want to take the final words to close our meeting, you are very welcome. Cesar.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mite. I'm so grateful to be with you in this meeting, everybody. I would like to say thank you so much for what has taken place, and really it has inspired us and it has shown us that really the VVOB has love for us with the students and the lecturers for agriculture. Really, they're bringing new things in our life and bringing new they're motivating us in whatever thing they're doing for us. Really, I send my sincere thanks to the VVOB officials, board of directors, and everybody from VVOB. Also, I would like to say that if they can continue with support to us, it would be far much better, so that we continue, because I've heard that they're almost ending the program of TAP this year. So I would like to say thank you. Really, you've done something great for us. Thank you. May God bless everyone as to depart from this meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cesar, for these wonderful words. Ms. Ramoni.
I also have a word to say because I don't just want it to go without saying anything. First of all, I would like to thank the participants so much, especially the participants from the selected OS institutions. Thank you so much for sparing your time. I know you are busy people. Some of you are working for the business, but you have sacrificed your time to be with us in this meeting. That is an indication that you are really willing to work with us and to work with our students. It is a very good indication. I'm only requesting that whenever we invite you to attend the training with the meeting with us, you always accept it because we have already selected you and our eyes is on you. And because your institution or your firms are very good to train our students. So I'm just appealing, I'm requesting that you keep on sparing your time whenever we call you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omoni. Sharon.
Thank you very much, Madam Mite. I just want to appreciate you for everything you have been doing for us. Actually, you have been adding more value in our education. And what I know really, I know that we shall make a colorful learning through this tab, but only that is leaving us. We really want to thank you. Another participant, I wanted to thank them so much. I wish them well.
Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. I give the final words to Robert from Marifa Sasa to share your insights of the past morning, and then I think we are ready to to continue with our day.
Thank you very much, Miti, for that, and thank you everyone that was able to join us this morning. Your presence here means a lot to us. You know, at Marifa Sasa, we like to think of ourselves as a learning company, as a learning organization. And we have been learning so much from you this morning, most importantly, about how we can continue to improve this experience. So thank you all of you for your feedback and of course for those very meaningful insights that will, I think, help us to even take this to a whole new level. I just want to say thank you, and I really, really appreciate you for spending your morning with us today, and look forward to seeing all of you again on the 10th of this month. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much, Robert. See you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye, Francis.